right. For a long time, I've wanted to see these Ann and Nicole Smith locations that you can only see, obviously, in the Bahamas. And I thought to myself, you know, it's not always the safest thing to try to solicit someone to take you to these places. And then I found the perfect person to go with me. Big John. Big John is here. And you know Big John from his whole world of personal security, but also Rock of Love, right, John?
Sure, we did that. And worked for several artists, and now I'm lucky enough to be back with this camp. Back for more, if you will.
Great guys. So anyway, we're going to talk to someone and see if they'll take us to see some of these Ann and Nicole locations. I've heard people say $25 a person, whatever. We'll make a deal. The key, I think, is to make the deal before we get in.
Hell yeah. Or we'll wind up in Barbados.
Yeah, with no kidneys. All right, here we go. All right, so far it was pretty easy, John. She said 120.
Not bad.
I think that's a fair price. And she is familiar with it and familiar with the locations, which definitely helps. It's a house, a grave, and a hospital.
Sure, I'm sure everybody.
Yeah.
What we heard was that when she died, everyone. Yeah.
Right. Now she says she can get us in to the grave. I mean, I hear that most people lie, but about that. But we're gonna see. She knows the history too. Here we go.
Use some force and put the house is on the east end of the island, the grave is on the west end, and the hospital is in the middle of both.
Okay. All right. So we're taking the Ann and Nicole tour, and she was born Vicki Lynn Hogan, and started Playboy's really where she kicked off her career. She was a centerfold playmate. She ended up being the Playmate of the Year, and from there, big career in modeling. Guess Jeans, I think, is the one, the advertising that we all saw. She was sort of maybe a plus-size Marilyn Monroe for a lot of people. And towards the end of her life, she moved here to the Bahamas. And theory is that she was trying to avoid a paternity test with her, I guess, boyfriend Howard K. Stern, also paternity. And this paternity test was really huge. So she came here. They made her a citizen, and they made her a citizen very fast. A lot of people think there was something a little shady about how fast they escalated it. Later, photos came out of her with the immigration counselor, minister, and it seems like and he had to resign. It seems like she might have paid with some favors. But she became a resident, and she lived in this house that she believed was hers, but she eventually was evicted by the person who actually owned it. That place is called Horizons, and that's the first stop that we're going to. And then she gave birth to her daughter, Danny Lynn. Her name wasn't supposed to be Danny Lynn, but her son Daniel was visited, passed away in the hospital maybe 2 or 3 days after she gave birth. She changed the name to Danny Lynn as a tribute to him. And then after that, ultimately she was buried here at the Lakeview Cemetery. And when she died, it became quite the tourist attraction. A lot of people did it, but they would say that to go visit, you had to get somebody who was cool. We have a great driver today who was helping with us. It was so crazy that they ended up making it a private cemetery, and a lot of people have not been able to get in. But her late husband, he was an oil tycoon. He was in his 80s when he married her. He lived about a year and a half after their meeting and marriage. And his ashes are also in the casket with her and her son, Daniel. So it'll be something different to do. You know, we're on the road all the time, but not often in the Bahamas. And this is the kind of thing. John, you're into the same kind of stuff that I am.
I am. I love the ghost tours. I love the historical value of them, and you know, believer if you sit back and pay attention, you can actually learn a lot from, without, for lack of better term, someone's death and how they died.
How they
get a
lived
real
and how they
sense of
died.
them and how they lived, how they died. You get a real idea as to who they were and what they were about, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, and it's a history, and it's not a history for everybody, but we were talking yesterday, and you went to a lot of the locations in California and across the world where
Absolutely.
these famous things occurred. Now that YouTube and Instagram is around, more people are starting to do this. We were doing it just out of our own, you know.
We had to use MapQuest.
Yeah, right. No, and it wasn't as easy as it is now. But there's something special about being in a place and doing something that not everyone will have the
Absolutely.
opportunity.
I find it to be very, I don't want to say cleansing, but there's a certain feeling that you get when you, one, pay respect, but two, you take the time out to just kind of live and see what they saw on a daily basis. I think you can get a lot out of that.
I agree, and I say on this show all the time that you got to live life while you can. And John, no one knows more than you about second chances.
Second chances are amazing.
Yeah, and so you go out and you live. A lot of people are going to sleep in today and not do anything on the cruise or do the same thing. We're going to do something a little different.
I love it.
Yeah.
Look at these houses, man. These are beautiful.
Very beautiful. I should point out that's another thing. We're getting to actually see the Bahamas. Everyone else sees a port.
Yes, this is beautiful.
That's one of the things about touring in general.
Yeah.
We see the airport, we see a concert venue,
Yeah.
and then that's it. But here, I really wanted to see how people live and what it looks like. And say I actually went to the Bahamas because a port is not the Bahamas. All right, this is it. This is the home that she was living in. It was called Horizons. And I'm gonna do a quick shot here so we can see it.
Does somebody live here now?
No.
Oh, so it's vacant.
Yeah.
So we're not like gonna get shot. The power of Nicole.
Pick up the license plate. That was so long ago.
Yeah.
That's on that car.
Oh.
20 years ago.
It's been there all that time?
Really?
All right, behind me is the home that Anna Nicole Smith lived in with Howard K. Stern, and you can see why she would want to live here because it's a beautiful area, beautiful neighborhood, and a very nice house. But the story of the house is, as I said, is a bit controversial because she thought she owned it but did not. This is the neighbor's house. That.
And here's her house. Look at this place. Look at the roof and everything. It's dilapidated.
Yeah, it was beautiful when she lived there.
So much now. I'm guessing nobody ever went back in there.
No. You can see why someone would want to live here. I mean, nice quiet road and had some privacy. Yeah. Nice place to kind of escape. There's the Horizons sign, what's left of it. And then again, on home. Yeah.
Yeah.
How often do people ask you to do this?
When she first died,
Yeah.
it was often. Taxis were lined off out here.
Were they really? That's what
yeah.
that's what Jason was saying. It became like almost a tourist
It
attraction.
was, yeah. And then even up until about 5 years ago, the cemetery kind of, stopped banning people off of the property. So now, because I had some people there a few months ago, they didn't stop us.
Yeah. Well, that was the other thing. I knew at first there was so many people running around that they're kind of, you know, messing up or not really paying respect to the cemetery.
Right.
So most people said that, you know, it's hard to get in or, you know. But I mean, she's been gone a while
20
now.
years now.
Yeah, wow, yeah. So not everyone remembers, and younger people probably don't even know.
They don't know. So, yeah.
This is Eastern Road.
The Eastern Road.
Yeah. And I'm assuming a very nice area.
Yeah, this is where like the rich people live out here.
Gotcha. A beautiful
Look at that
view.
view.
Yeah.
That's the eastern, the eastern end of Paradise Island. You have celebrities over there like Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal.
I can imagine, yeah.
Oprah Winfrey.
Shaq lives down here?
One of those houses right over there is his house.
Does he really?
Those houses is his house.
In 2006, Anna Nicole Smith was in this hospital giving birth to her daughter. Her 20-year-old son, Daniel, was visiting her and was in the room with Anna Nicole. When she woke up, this was about 3 days after she gave birth, he had passed away. They found 7 drugs in his system, and very tragic. Her daughter's name was then changed to Danny Lynn in memory. But yeah, very small hospital. Not what you expect. I thought we were going to go see a giant
Yeah, I thought
building.
it would be like a big medical center or something.
This is why visiting these things is so interesting. Not just showing the hospital, but showing the surroundings. So you can sort of picture what it's like. Now, so far, we've been very lucky that this woman driver is taking care of us. Look, I'll be honest, I read a lot about this, and they said there's a lot of people who are not so honest. And so far, we're having a good experience, too. But we're going to see if we get into this grave. She says she can do it, but be quick. Here we go. Me and Big John back on the adventure. All right, thank you. And off we go.
I'm gonna drive in, but
Okay.
you just gotta be quick. I'm gonna just take you to the area where she's buried.
Right.
I know before they had a photo of her and her son there, but I didn't see it when I went there the last time. We didn't want to make it obvious that we were looking for it, okay?
Right.
Sure.
We just took them to the spot where she was buried. Yeah.
Yeah. I have an idea where it is.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah, and they put it. It's next to that square thing. I
Yeah,
think.
it's like a monument.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to make a quick run through it. They're not gonna allow me in.
Okay. Understood.
Like Trump? I said like Donald Trump. Yeah. You probably do it. It'll put the word.
I don't get into politics.
No, you don't. But I tell you one thing.
I don't discuss politics, sir. I don't discuss politics.
I'm just trying. You said you love Donald Trump. If you say you love Donald Trump, that's enough.
I love you. I love everyone.
So they don't let people in here, and it doesn't look like you can
You know something?
pay your way in anyway. Now,
That's the reason.
I will show that the grave itself is right there, and it's in the ground. Let me show a picture of it. And
You don't love him.
anyway, so that would be
Yes, do. You say God give you another chance?
interesting that not the friendliest picture. Do they always have a guard like that?
No, because the last time I came by, nobody was out front there. I go over here.
I mean, I don't even know.
It seems like more persons are now wanting to come down and see her graves.
I wasn't even sure how reputable he was.
I know.
I might, you guys in one change and we'll tell the tours to you guys. And
Had a lot of-
I would be staying in that house too.
Yeah.
She had always had company over, like government officials, friends, you know. She always had people coming over, so we don't know of anywhere on the island other than home she hanged out on.
Well, she was a social person.
Yeah, she was very.
I had met her. I should probably put that picture in this video.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was very sweet. I had a picture give me a big hug in Las Vegas. Yeah, she was very kind. All right, well, John and I are adventure seekers, and we.
Did we even get into conference with the locals? I know what the hell we did.
Yeah, that was surprising. So, giving a quick recap. Here's my theory after researching. I didn't want to say it while we were in the car, but the theory that I have is that they know you're not getting into that cemetery. And they tell you that you're going to get into that cemetery to make you take the
think you're
ride.
right.
And I heard a lot of people say that. People are going to promise you. I have seen people make it. So maybe sometimes early in the morning.
Well, that's why I said how much.
And you did the right thing. You offered. They can make a lot of money.
Well, yeah,
But they did. But
somehow it became political.
It was that. Well, and that was strange. So we had no problem. The house, no problem. The hospital. When we got in the car, I assured her that we were okay just seeing the outside of the cemetery. We knew there was a chance we didn't get in, but it made it fun to see if we would. And then at the end of the day, when she said, "Okay, here it is, go fast." And when we got out, we were approached. I think she knew we weren't getting in, but I don't mind. It was still part of the experience. But what was strange is we offered to pay. We offered to pay. We would say we were there to pay respect. But then somehow he turned it into a political thing. I don't even really know how it started.
He just asked out of the blue. He goes, "You like Trump?" And I was like, "I don't discuss politics and religion. I just don't. That's my philosophy. It's too easy to offend people these days, no matter what you believe."
He kept saying something about how you have to love Trump. I couldn't tell if he was pro or anti. It made no difference to either one of us. It wasn't a conversation we were falling for.
But he got aggressive.
Very aggressive, and he looked like a groundskeeper, not a security guard. You know, he looked like he mows the grass. You know, but listen, it made for an interesting trip. If you're coming to the Bahamas and you want to do that tour, remember you're probably not going to get into the cemetery. You do see the cemetery.
Still worth it, though. It's a good trip. You get to see the locals and you get to see the environment. It's absolutely beautiful here. So if you get off the dock, go visit the country. It's amazing.
I think that's the best point that John made, is that see something. This is not the Bahamas. I mean, it's part of it, but go see things that are not just the tourist areas, and go with people you feel safe about, and we got lucky. The first woman seemed very together.
Yes.
We thought we were going to have to
did.
go through a few. She knew exactly what we wanted, and she did her best, and she was polite. So I hope that you guys enjoyed our sort of adventure here in the Bahamas. Well, thank you, Big John. I appreciate it. I'm glad we went.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you again.
We'll see you again.